Good morning, it's Lumpy with Fool's Paradise Fishing. Remember, it's called fishing and not catching for a reason. It's 6 a.m. We're heading over to Seward. We're going to try out a spot to go beach fishing for halibut. It is February, but it is kind of an unusual winter because it's somewhat warm for February. Season's open. We're going to go give it a try. So when you come up to the Seward Military Resort in the summer, it would be a spot you could go shore fishing for halibut. And we'll check it out and we'll show you some of the details of the spot. So let's get going. So what you're seeing is we're driving down Low Point Road to the south, and off to your right you can see part of the hill that gave way a couple years ago. So just be careful when driving down Low Point Road. And as you can see, there's lots of potholes. Farther down you turn into the recreation area, and it's pretty nice. Still potholes, so just avoid them as best you can if you're driving a rental car. Take it easy. And as you see, we're pulling up to the area. There's a bunch of parking spots and a pay spot, so pay accordingly. This is Lowell State Recreation Area, and we've arrived. What you'll encounter is a nice parking lot, and there is a fee station with a porta potty and a trail to the beach. If you go to the upper parking spot, it'll take you on the trail out the Cane's Head if you're into hiking. But right now we're going to pay, which is about $5 per day, and then we'll go down to the beach and set everything up and start fishing. Let's look at the equipment that you'll need to fish for halibut from the shore, or bank fishing as they call it. So you'll need the 10-foot rod. You can get those at Walmart for about 60 bucks. I would change out the line from the mono to some braid, Power Pro or something, because you don't want stretch. Stretch keeps you from hooking the halibut. You always need a chair, of course, your cooler for your lunch, a bag to carry all your things. What you see at the end of the line is a light that helps attract it. And then we have, of course, coffee. You need some herring oil with an injector, some weights, hammer, of course, because you got to hammer in your rod holder, the hook setup, some gloves, a knife in case you catch something. And of course, you don't need the wagon, but it helps. For those of us up here and do this quite often, this is the wagon for the nice trail. I have a big metal wagon for the unimproved trails to go fishing. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go get a herring, and I'm going to show you how to string it up onto the hook. So what you see here is the bait, and there's a way to prepare it in order to make it enticing for the halibut. And one thing I forgot to mention is always have your South Central Alaska regulations. And so first thing you want to do is put some diagonal cuts in it, and because you want the herring smell to come on out to entice the halibut to bite. And we'll stick some herring oil in there also, so have your handy dandy knife there. With the upper hook, you want to hook it up in there, and I usually go up this way through the head to kind of hold it on there, get it through the skull. There we go. As you can see, holding on there. And then we'll come down here and we'll put it through the backbone and kind of get it through there. So you got this type of setup going. Now you get out your little stringy tape so you can tie it onto here, because when you cast it, there's a couple of ways to take it out there, but we're just today going to cast it out there. There's someone already down there fishing, and they have their kayak, so they took it out there to a distance out there to drop it down. but I didn't feel like bringing the whole kayak setup. So as you can see, I kind of just tied on so we can get it started. If I can get it on. It's always harder with the gloves. And I haven't done this in a year, so I'm having to remember I don't go shore fishing all that much. I have a couple of boats, one to offshore, a drift boat, and then my little paddle inflatable kayak. Cut that off, throw it in the truck, and then start wrapping this thing up. Because you don't want it to come off when you fling it way out there, because we're going to cast it out. The fish don't know. If these things have tails, you want to cut them off and less resistance. And now when you get down here, you want to do the little knot, the surgeon knot, I think they call it. But you want to do this a couple times. Half hitches, the other, if we say the Navy way. So we can half hitch our way until we figure we've had enough. That it's not going to come loose, it's going to stay on there. And then we'll just trim it off. Throw this in our little kit. Now what you want to do is take the herring oil, not hook yourself, and stick it in there, because this is just a little more attractant. Try and aim for the slits. And as you can see by the 18 gauge needle, I'm sitting there making sure we don't stab ourselves, and I use the Procure just because they sell it by the gallon. All right, now we'll walk on down and cast her out. So real quick here, I'll show you the final setup. So what we have is our pretty good size herring as bait. We got our light, and then we go up to our 6-ounce weight, and that's pretty much all you need to hold it. We're kind of late, so we're getting here at high tide, so there's not going to be movement, but we'll hold on and let a little bit of the outgoing tide kind of give it some action, and then we'll see what we get. You want to have you want to get here 3 hours beforehand and kind of hang out a couple hours afterwards, so that you can develop a scent trail and the halibut can come and find it. The light helps it also. Some people use some other things. You can put a spinner on it, that helps a little bit, but everything, all the details help. There's the trail. It's not very long, about 200 yards. We'll walk on down that and then set up to go fishing. So a little quick walk down to the water so that we can start setting up. And as you can see, the first thing is you got to hammer in the pole holder. Always got to have the chair and your food and coffee nearby. So there's our little setup. The only thing missing is normally when people come down here and go fishing for halibut from the beach, they set up a fire to stay warm, because it's even cool in the summer. But right now it's nice out. I got my jacket, and I also brought rain gear. Didn't know if it's going to rain. We did get a light dusting of snow when I showed up driving through Moose Pass. But man, it is nice out today. This is why you come up here. So sorry about the disparity in the voiceovers. It only accepts Apple stuff for my mini Mac. So a lot of sitting around and waiting when you fish from the shore. But I took an opportunity to take a picture of the guy fishing next to me, and he took his kayak like 400 yards out there. I don't think you have to go that far to drop down your bait. I mean, that's pretty deep. If you didn't know, Resurrection Bay is very deep, like 900 feet deep in the middle, so you don't need to go that far out. And as always, there's an eagle mooching for food, like they normally do. The tide turn, so you can see me packing everything up, reeling it in. And if the bait's looking good, I put it back in the bag because bait's not cheap. The small pack of big herrings like 15 bucks at Walmart. So, and you get about 20, 25 pieces, so it's 50 cents a piece. So everything goes back. I can use it for halibut fishing and cooking. Like, all right, it's Lumpy with Fool's Paradise Fishing, and we're done for the day. The tide turned and is heading out, so we're gonna head home. And caught nothing, but as I told you before, it's called fishing and not catching for a reason. But here's your primer on halibut fishing from the shore at Lowell Point when you're down here at the Seward Military Recreation Center. And we'll talk to you more later. See you on the river.